This is the Aptitude Outdoors podcast, where we interview conservationists, hunters, anglers, and outdoorsmen and women to bring you the greatest stories, information, and advice from the best in the world. I don't know about you, but I always carry a knife. It doesn't matter what the situation is, I'm always reaching for a blade. Whether I'm out hunting in the backwoods, fishing on lakes and rivers, or simply cutting rope at camp. And when I need a tool, I want something that's quality, durable, and handmade right here in the USA. I know that's something you're looking for as well, so go to MaloneKnives.com and get yourself something that's going to last and look damn good too. I'm a huge fanatic for handmade, high-quality leather and canvas products. In my opinion, they last longer, hold up better to the abuses of travel, and honestly, they just look really cool. That's why I use Badger Claw Outfitters. They've been making handcrafted products for hunting, camping, and travel since 2011, and that's right up my alley. Best part is they're made right here in the USA and are guaranteed for life. They've got everything from gun leather, belts, custom knife sheaths, wallets, duffel bags, leather and canvas pouches, everyday carry items, and more. Badger Claw Outfitters, made in the USA, built for the wild. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Aptitude Outdoors podcast. Thanks for tuning back in. Today, I'm talking about the worst recipe on the planet, tag soup. I had to eat tag soup this year, but the good with the bad is that I learned a lot. And I say a lot, I mean a lot. I spent more days in the field hunting this year than I ever had or ever thought I would, and did a lot of different things, which I've talked about quite a bit already. But this year has been dubbed, this hunting season has been dubbed the season of learning. The guys that I've been hunting the tail end of the season with, goose hunting, we learned a lot, especially trying new stuff. Found 3 other dudes that are willing to go out there and just give it hell for the sake of giving it hell. And that is so important, because when you're by yourself, it can be a little daunting, and scrounging up goose decoys, which are not cheap. They are not like duck decoys. You can't just go on Facebook Marketplace and find them for $20, $40, $50. I mean, we're talking like $200, $150 for 4 or 6 goose decoys. So it's not a cheap hobby. We'll put it that way. Goose calls. I mean, these are duck calls, but I got calls, all that stuff. I had to learn a lot, but the learning curve ends up being the fun part. I spent hours blowing goose and duck calls this season, and it was very annoying to everyone I know, but on the last day we hunted, I got to learn a lot. Got to learn a lot about how geese operate and learn how they don't like certain things, and we really upped our game, I think. Even though our success rate was pretty low, I think the days that I hunted with these guys, we shot 1 goose, which isn't great if your goal is to kill geese. But we got to observe hundreds, if not thousands of them. And I think, and I say this all the time, that is the most important part, because we already have a game plan for next season. We've already all started ordering books. We've all started working on shooting, hitting the range, in this off season before spring fishing, turkey starts, all of that. The next cycle coming up, which I have an episode about, talking about the cyclical seasons of hunting and fishing in the outdoors. Go check that out if you haven't. And I really am excited to use the knowledge that I gained this year into next year. And something that I'm holding myself to for the coming season is I'm going to get a notebook for each specific species that I hunt, as in deer, ducks, geese, turkey. And I'm going to go out of my way to mark what these animals are doing during every condition that I can conceive of during
that hunting season. And I think that's going to, over time, compound and teach me a lot about the animal and be able to get a record of what they're doing when it's cloudy, when it's rainy, when it's cold, when the wind's whipping, when there's no wind. And I've heard from a lot of very successful hunters that that's the route to go. So I need to do that. I need to hold myself to that. I need to do that. But I think the most important thing I learned this year is you just got to go for it. It was a lot of cold, a lot of long days, 12, 10, 8-hour days just sitting out in the cold. And to have to, cook up that tag soup for deer is a pretty brutal thing. But at the end of the day, again, I learned more this year by doing so much than I've learned in the last 6 years of hunting and fishing. And I don't plan on slowing down. I plan on going harder. I've always looked up to these guys that are like, I spend 30, 40 days a year in the field hunting. I'm like, how do you do that? And I learned this year, you just go and do it. You take every free moment that you have and you just get out there and go after it. And a lot of people are bummed out by what they call failure, what they perceive as failure. But I would be lying if I say I wasn't also bummed. But just like when I thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail, a lot of failure going into that success at the end of the day. I had to eat a lot of backpacking soup, I guess you could call it. I mean, a lot of twisted ankles and days without food and starving and hiking through 2-3 hours of darkness because I misjudge how long things take. At the end of the day, it made me better in the outdoors. So I hope you guys go after it. And I know it can be nerve-wracking to just go all in, but that's that jump off the cliff. You just have to commit.
Hey, what's up everyone? James Appleton here, co-founder of Absolute Aid. Welcome to the Seek to Do More program. This program will help you help yourself by developing the daily habits that will elevate your entire life. Over the next 30 days, you'll complete the doers list every single day. And the doers list includes 1, do something physical. 2, follow and stick to your diet of choice. 3, read a real book. 4, further your education on purpose. 5, dedicate time to your spiritual life. And 6, dedicate time to your hobbies. So if you're ready to take a structured, proven approach to build the daily habits that will allow you to get the most out of yourself, your time, and your life every single day, the Seek to Do More program is your blueprint. So make a choice, commit to yourself, sign up below, and let's get started.
I almost didn't go goose hunting with these guys at the tail end of the season because I'm just so, I guess the only phrase I can use is burnt out. I mean, you spend that much time out there and nothing happens. It gets really brutal and you just get exhausted of it. But I just kept going. I show up, I set my alarm for 4 a.m., flip my legs out of bed, grab a protein bar and a bottle of water, and I run out the door and we sit in the blind all day. That's it. I learned so much. I can't stress that enough. And it was just enjoying the beauty of nature, watching swans, thousands and thousands, literally thousands of swans fly overhead. Astounding to see. I mean, we saw a skunk try and eat one of our decoys on the last day we hunted for the season. It's just the insanity. There were probably about 3 or 4 different species of hawks flying around. We saw bald eagles flying around and herds of, deer running around. There's thousands upon thousands of ducks just circling these marshes we were hunting around the edges of on public land. I learned about public land, and not only in reading about public land and why it's so important, I also learned how to use public land. It was very intimidating for me because as someone who's been essentially solo hunting or hunting with one other person on and off for the last 6 years, it's intimidating to just go out in public land for yourself. So it's nice to have that group of people who are like, well, we all are just going to go do this together and learn how to brush in a blind, learn how to, sit quietly, learn how to keep my eyes down when stuff's flying overhead because your first reaction is to look up and get all excited, learn to be patient for when to shoot them. That's a big flaw on my end. I get really excited and I just go after it. And I kind of learned some things about effective range, which You don't know if you're out, you don't know if you don't go. So I hope you guys had a season of learning. I hope you continue to have seasons of learning. I have a feeling next year will be a more successful season. We'll see. That's not for me to decide at this point in time, but I'm going to just keep hitting the books. I'm going to do my best to get in better shape, because dragging sleds through muddy and frozen fields that are frozen in the morning and thawing by the time you come out in the afternoon is a lot of work. Carrying all this heavy equipment out into the middle of a field is a lot of work, and I want to be ready to do that. So thank you all for listening, and I hope that you will help me out and leave the podcast a rating and review on iTunes and Spotify, and also subscribe to the Aptitude Outdoors YouTube channel. It's actually growing pretty steadily, and I thank all of you who are watching this stuff. I hope you're getting something out of it. Leave feedback, let me know if there's stuff that you want to learn about, if there's guests you want to learn about. I'll do my best to get them on the podcast. And as always, I want to thank you guys, because you're the best. See you soon with another episode.